follows is a broad outline of my research, which can be formulated with this question. Is it possible to provide a solid justification for focusing mainly on classical texts in the contemporary teaching of higher education at various levels? This ongoing research project, has two legs. One of them deals with the historical and philosophical analysis of modern university system in respect of classical texts and liberal arts. The other leg deals with development of the curriculum in higher educational system in a non-Westerner country based on classical texts, be it scientific, religious, or Bending history. In this presentation, it will be surveyed only the first leg of it, with a special emphasis on American university model, and will be given just a hint of the curriculum development issue. Modern secondary education and higher education in the West have been heavily influenced by the work of Wilhelm von Humboldt from the first decades of 19th century. We owe him many key concepts and their applications in institutions. PhD based on original research, academic autonomy, innovative scholarship, especially his conception of Bildung or cultivation. In English language, Coleridge used this concept and translated in English like cultivation. Then became the cultural notion as we know today. Wilhelm von Humboldt believed that universities should foster Bildung or cultivation, meaning broad intellectual development and humanistic culture in students. By the end of the 19th century, every state in Europe had more or less aligned its educational system with the Prussian one. Even the rival French model. Many universities emphasize a version of the Humboldtian Bildung and called it liberal education in English and culture générale in French. That was the first transformation in the university system. Evidently, this could not have occurred without the secularization and the bureaucratization of modern nation-state. The university professor became state functionary, and then they trained the future public servants. A second wave of transformations within the university system followed between the world wars in 20th century in favor of technical education. The last transformation is the one we have been experiencing since the last decades of 20th century. That seems to involve integration of university and industry, so-called corporatization of university. Since World War II, the dominant idea shaping the university is that it should create new learning, new skills in all fields, and especially science and medicine, help the economy create wealth, and support a knowledge-driven society. The multi-university, as it is sometimes called, offers an astonishing range of institutes, centers, and schools to teach all manners of knowledge, much of it practical. Emblematic of the new conception of the university is the place of business schools in the university system, which attracts one-fifth of undergraduate students in the United States. In this trend, while not ignored, humanistic research and teaching are less central. In fact, liberal education loses ground, but it also evolves and becomes more sophisticated. Liberal arts designates a college or university curriculum aimed at imparting general knowledge and developing general intellectual capacities, in contrast to a professional, vocational, or technical curriculum. It is, if I may allow to use a metaphor for smile, I could call it listening conversation of great minds. Although the Humboldtian project had relegated those ideals to the gymnasium, secondary education, that project has obviously failed. University education has been undertaking this duty gradually since the beginning of the 20th century. Liberal education, which can be termed as humanistic education as well, has its roots in Greco-Roman antiquity. Inside the texture of this tradition, two threads were identified. Broadly speaking, one can be called the civic ideal, the responsible participation of citizens in the public life. The other can be called the philosophical ideal, which at the same time has got to do with perfection, be it in ethics or aesthetics. Both aspects persist today, and they are especially relevant in the pluralist democratic society. So, defending that type of liberal education has a vital importance nowadays, as before. The formation and evolution of core curricula in certain United States universities, with some variations, was the main contributions to the higher education system. Had critical impact on the way in which many scholars and students throughout the world were educated in the humanities. At the outset, American universities followed closely the European model. The Anglo-American Liberal Arts College, founded in emulation of Renaissance Italian academies, was increasingly remodeled along the lines of new German research university, whose main purpose was rigorous original scholarship. Johns Hopkins University, founded in 1876, was the first German-style research university in the United States, and at the same time 3 Germanic degrees, the PhD, was introduced to the universities in the USA for the first time. But USA's original contribution came with the introduction of the core curriculum. In the early 20th century America, when the classical curriculum of Greek and Latin studies was rejected as being no longer practical, certain educational leaders sought to retain the spirit of liberal learning in the core curriculum. Amidst the emergent majors and electives in the first half of the 20th century, which are again American innovations, 2 models of a core curriculum were attempted at.